Welcome inside the historic Goodman Library at the Oxford Union Society in Oxford, England. In just a matter of moments, this man, Dana White, will be addressing the students at the debating chamber. And Dana, I've had the privilege to interview you in many unique locations. NASDAQ, Abu Dhabi, Radio City Music Hall. Never did I think we would be somewhere like here. How in the world did you end up here?
I'm with you on that one. I met one of the guys here who says he's been lobbying for a few years to get me in here to speak, and I don't know, between him and my crew, they made it happen.
You've had a chance to walk around, tour, talk to some of the students, the club members. What has the experience been like? I know you're about to address the debating chamber in a moment, but what has it been like so far?
Oh, it's been awesome. It's been incredible. Obviously, the history in the building, and they gave me the tour and showed pictures of all the guys who spoke here and when they did, and there's a story to everything, and basically the story of how this place was built and how it all works and how political it is. Then I went upstairs and met with all the, basically all the presidents of all the different, there's an MMA team, karate, taekwondo, boxing, you know, basically the head of all the sports leagues here. And I've been up talking to them, I don't know how long it was probably an hour and a half, and it was incredible. I mean, it was really cool.
So these guys are actually UFC fans. They're not students who are talking to you about business and things like that.
These guys knew as much about MMA as me and you do.
Really?
I mean, the stuff that they were, you know, asking me and coming at me with was awesome. It was just, it's crazy to come into, obviously to go to another country and people know as much about your business and your sport as you do, but to come to Oxford University, and these are the, you know, these are basically the movers and shakers here at the university, and they're just totally into it and know everything about it. It's you know, it's kind of surreal.
I'm not sure if you know this, but some pretty big names have addressed the debating chamber. Guys like Malcolm X,
Yep.
Mother Teresa, Dalai Lama,
Yep.
Robert Kennedy, now Dana White.
Yeah, that's pretty stupid.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, it's incredible. Like I said, I guess the Malcolm X speech is famous here, and it's up on YouTube, they said. So anybody who wants to check out the Malcolm X speech, they said it's incredible. The things that he said, and you know, you're talking at a time, it was back in like 1966. And the stuff that he was saying was extremely controversial. And he got a roaring standing ovation here in Oxford at a time when, you know, an African-American guy didn't go into a room and say crazy stuff and get standing ovations.
What will you be talking to them about?
I honestly don't know.
You're winging it.
Yeah,
Really?
I don't write speeches, or I just don't do that. If I have to write a speech to talk about, you know, me and my business, that's kind of weird. I'm going to go in there and, you know, I just stood upstairs with these guys for an hour and a half, and we just had a great talk. Some people jumped in and started debating with me, and you know, arguing some points, and it was awesome. I have a feeling that's how it's going to be in there too. I think there's going to be some people in there that might come after me hard. You know, this place is known for asking a lot of tough questions,
right.
But you know, nothing that I haven't faced in the last 10 years anyway, being in business.
From the media, right?
Yeah, from anybody.
Right.
Media, commissioners, you know, legislators, you name it.
What have they told you about dropping F-bombs?
Nothing. This place was built on freedom of speech, and this place was built by a couple of kids, you know, back in the 1800s, whose parents had a lot of money. They wanted a place where the kids could go and debate and talk about hot topics that the school wouldn't talk about. So this place was built on controversy and on freedom of speech.
Originally, we weren't going to come here, but we didn't have a chance to talk to you at UFC 119. After UFC 119, you were visibly upset, and you didn't talk to the media afterwards. Obviously, you addressed the media at the press conference. Why were you so upset? Yeah,
you know, you guys know how I get sometimes, you know, and I just felt that night, and I'm always there to talk to the media, and you know, good or bad, I'm always there. But that night was one of those nights that I know if I would have stuck around, we'd have had some YouTube moment that I'd be dealing with for the next,
right.
you know, for the next 2 months. So
even after Abu Dhabi, you spoke. It seemed like you were even more upset this time.
I think I was.
Why?
I don't know. It was one of those nights. You know, you have your nights where you just, you know, that was my night. It was my night. I was absolutely disgusted with the main event.
Was that the main thing that bothered you? The performances by both guys?
Yeah, the main event really really bothered me.
Have you cleared the air with them?
you know, I don't know how you really clear the air. I mean, they both know how I felt, and you know, I'm pretty sure I know how they feel. It is what it is.
But let's just be clear, though. You were never considering releasing Frank Mir, right? That was something that was taken out of context?
Completely taken out of context. The reporter asked me, could you? I said, of course I can. Could I and will I are two different things. The guy won the fight. Now, you know, how would I go in and cut him?
UFC 120 this Saturday at the O2 Arena. This is a very interesting card. Obviously, a lot of British fighters on the card. And some fans, and I know you've heard this as well, you've addressed it a little bit, were disappointed when they saw the card. They're like, oh, too many British guys. We want to see, you know, the Anderson Silvas or the BJ Penns or the George St. Pierres. Yet, it's sold out rather quickly.
Biggest selling event in UK history.
So what do you make of that? Is that just a small minority of fans?
Yeah. You're going to have these, you know, this group of people on the internet with either agendas or whatever their deal is. When you look at how many fights we put on a year, you know what I mean? Every card isn't going to be, you know, George St. Pierre versus Anderson Silva. Every card isn't going to be that. And I think that as a fight fan, there's going to be cards that people love and cards that people say this is okay, and cards that people don't like. And you know what the answer to that is? It's free on Spike TV. If you don't like it, don't watch it. And if you didn't want to buy tickets to this event, you didn't have to. Nobody's forcing you to watch it or to buy tickets, but things sold out. It's to the point now where, you know, when you go to a sellout, there's actually just single seats left. People are snatching up all the single seats. So there's enough people that care about the card to sell the thing out at the O2 Arena in London. And if you don't like this card and it's free on television, you know, watch something else. Watch American Idol.
Obviously, this is airing live here in the UK. It's also airing live in Canada, but via tape delay in the United States. Why do you make that decision?
Ask me that question again.
The fight is airing live in the UK, also in Canada as well on Rogers Sportsnet, but on Spike it airs via tape delay. Well, obviously to be in prime time. But would you ever consider maybe airing it twice? Yeah. So because so many hardcore fans, they go online, they want to know the results. Yeah,
maybe. You know, that's a Spike thing. You know what I mean? The network's got to do what they have to do to air the thing when they need to do it. You know, it's dealing with the network, which I don't disagree with Spike either.
Right. How big of a draw is Michael Bisping here? Do fans maybe in the United States not understand how big of a deal he is? Because talking to some people here, they rank him up there with the Ricky Hattons of the world here, but the American fans might not understand that. In your eyes, how big of a draw is he here?
I think the fans get it too. I think the American fans get it. You know, Michael Bisping's just one of these guys that, you know, that some of them like to hate. And what I always say about that is my philosophy on that is as long as they care one way or the other. You know, but I think, you know, I think Bisping's a big star in the UFC period, not just here in the UK.
Between October of 2008 and November of 2009, I believe you came to Europe 5 times. You know, there were a lot of events either here or in Germany, but this is the first time since UFC 105, November of 2009. Why was there such a big stretch between coming back? Because
we've been, first of all, as we go global and we expand into all these other countries, it's no different than, you know, when we go into the state of whatever, and they're like, we'll be at the press conference, the fight just ended, and they're like, when are you coming back?
Right.
You know, there's a lot of territory we're trying to cover, and one of the things people have to understand is, as this thing grows, you know, you go through these growing pains as a sport and the business and everything, and the company grows. So, you know, there's going to be places that it takes a little bit for us to get back to.
Some interesting fights on the card. John Hathaway, a lot of people excited about him. He's undefeated. Akiyama fighting Bisping, of course. You know, guys like Chet Congo. Is there one fight in particular?
Condit and Dan Hardy.
Of course.
Condit, yes. Dan Hardy.
And Condit, has he made it to the UK?
Yeah, he's here.
Okay, he made it.
Oh, yeah.
No problems with his passport?
No. He got to the airport, had a couple of passport issues because it was worn out in certain places. That was it. We got him right on and got him in.
Which fight in particular are you most looking forward to?
I got to be honest with you. I love the Dan Hardy Condit fight. And Akiyama is always awesome. Tell me the last time you saw Akiyama in a boring fight. And then I'm a big Hathaway fan. I love this kid. And this card, listen, and if anybody who would say, this card's so good, Spencer Fisher is on the undercard. Right. You know? Then you got, you know, Chet Congo back going up against, you know, undefeated, you know, unbeaten heavyweight. It's going to be a fun night of fights.
Okay, let me finish up with just a couple of quick hits here. Obviously, next weekend is UFC 121. It's been a very busy stretch for you guys. Is there a part of you that wishes you could spread out the events a little more so you have more time to promote them?
They are. I mean, they're spread out as much as we can spread them. And it's not going to get better, it's going to get worse. I mean, every year that goes on, as we break into these markets, what's going to eventually start to happen is there'll be a fight going on over here in the UK, and there'll be a fight going on in the US or in China or, you know, somewhere else. Yeah, I mean, it could happen, absolutely. There will be a day when that happens.
Are you fearful at all that people have too much MMA
No.
to choose from, and then they'll start skipping shows and things like
Wait
that?
till you see what we're working on. Yeah.
No hints. Keep
No.
telling us that.
We've been working on a lot. I mean, right now we're in about 500 million homes around the world. A couple of the deals, Lorenzo, after this fight, I fly back home for the California fight. Lorenzo goes on to India. In India, there's 300 million males 18 to 34, which is as many people as there are in the United States. We get India open, you know, and we start to get all these other countries open. The couple of things we're working on right now, in the next few months, we'll be in 1 billion homes around the world. 1 billion homes. That's just a small piece of all these other things we're working on. So that's why. I mean, it's funny because you're like, now don't you think if you know, you get this on, it might be too much MMA, when 2 minutes ago you just told me that it's been a long time since we've been to London and these people are starved for it, and why aren't we back? Yet we have all these other places too that are bitching that they haven't been back there. As long as we're putting on good fights, you can't have too much MMA. It's like saying there's too much football on.
All right. You debuted in a lot of new markets this past year, Abu Dhabi, Australia, 2011. Any particular places on a global platform that you're looking to debut?
Yeah, I am hoping that, you know, obviously 2 of the places that we just talked about, hopefully we can get a fight going there.
India?
Yeah.
And China?
Yeah, and Toronto.
Toronto, of course. You were in Montreal yesterday.
Right.
Rogers Center, is that a possibility?
We'll see what happens.
You could get like 60,000 fans there.
Yeah, but I don't know if I do that.
No? Why?
I want to keep the integrity of the live show. I don't ever want a guy to pay a ticket for a UFC event and he's sitting in his seat and the octagon looks like a matchbook with 2 little ants fighting in it. You know, and that's kind of how I feel like it might be in an arena too big. You know?
Final question. Of course, we've yet to hear from Chael Sonnen. Do you think we will hear from him before December 2nd when he talks to the California State Athletic Commission?
No, I think you'll hear from him after. You know, and I think that's the smart move. I think, you know, Chael knows what's up and what he's got going on. It would be crazy to talk to the media before he goes in for his, you know, not hearing per se, but, you know, he's going to go before the commission. And if I was him, I wouldn't talk to anybody until after either.
Dana, pleasure. Good luck out there.
Thank you.
Don't get nervous.
Appreciate it.
Break a leg.
Thanks for coming.
Pleasure. He is Dana White. UFC 120, of course, goes down this Saturday night on Spike TV from the O2 Arena.